demand for equality, I'm merely asking for equity of treatment. When I demand for equality, I want to be looked upon as a human being with her 5 senses and a brain also, and not as a toy to be toyed with. When I demand for equality, I'm not saying I want to beat up a man. I'm simply saying that I should not be seen as one that can be beaten up and people will get away with it.
In 1995, the world pledged to advance gender equality at the Beijing Conference on Women. 3 decades later, we turn to Nigeria, a country of vibrant cultures and growing potential. How have women in Nigeria fared since Beijing? To answer this question, people from across Nigeria gathered in Enugu on the sideline of the Nigeria Bar Association 2025 Annual General Conference. The 6-member panel, headed by Professor Joy Ezilo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, advised stakeholders to foster collaboration to improve the status of women in the society.
All we are saying is that there should be synergy, that the government should also support that effort, and that we should work together as government, as non-governmental, as private sector, in order to achieve, in fact, the state responsibility is actually on the government. The government of each country is supposed to implement the Beijing Declaration and Platform of Action. Exactly today was the date the Beijing conference started, and they had 12 critical areas that we identified. And 30 years down the line, we are still battling those 12 critical areas. We are still battling poverty. Women are still battling violence against women. Women are still battling the girl-child issue. They are still affected by conflict around the world. They are still not on the peace table. Their human rights are not respected. And all we are saying is that human rights are women's rights.
The Deputy British High Commissioner in Abuja, Gilliver Obe, advised the Nigerian government to advance women's rights and empowerment.
I think the one big thing that Nigeria could do to increase gender equality and equity is to pass a special seats bill, which is a bill that will bring additional seats into Nigeria's National Assembly and also to state assemblies that give women more say in the political life of their country. So women are 50% of the population, but represent less than 5% of the people who are elected to the National Assembly. And there's a very strong evidence that bringing women into political and into public life means better policies for women and for youth, for society generally, less conflict, better peace, an increase in those domestic products, more economic success, and generally having women in political life is better for a successful and progressive democracy.
A human rights activist, Aisha Yusufu, encouraged women to always speak up and urge them to support one another.
But the judiciary in Nigeria, it's long gone. It's a plaything of corrupt politicians. So it's a plaything of people who have money. It hasn't been fair basically on anyone, and most especially when it comes to women. We must find a way into getting into politics. We must be at the places where decisions are being made. Enough of us standing by the side, enough of us being, led by tradition, some use religion against us. All those little voices that were planted into our heads that said that as women we can't be leaders, we should throw them away and just shatter every glass ceiling that is out there.
Other panelists took turn in condemning the marginalization of women in the society.
For the position of local government chair is often referred to as chairman. What it means is that it is already restrictive of having a woman chair a local government, a local government area.
The audience also condemned the killing of activists and men who belittle women aspiring to greater heights in life.
Killing of people that are advocating for right things to be done is so worrisome. And so many that have been killed, nothing has happened. So it's discouraging for people who still want to speak up.
And I really don't know why you want to shame a woman for being single, you want to shame a woman for pursuing her dreams, you want to shame a woman for being broken, or you talk too much, sit down, you shouldn't be heard. I must be heard because I am a woman.
Highlight of the event was the presentation of awards to panelists. The voices of women, amplified by the feminist movement and commitment to equality, continue to shape Nigeria's path forward. From International Conference Center, Enugu State, Nigeria, Ugonna Owalo reporting for Signature TV.